Hey, welcome everybody. This is CP Cards and Dice, and welcome to your streaming station for chat tutorials, strategy, player profiles, and more. We are here in early morning game, looking over actually the traded card set. I wasn't aware that they had traded card sets until one of the subscribers let me know about this. And I think I'm looking at, it looks like what they did was painted the hats on them. Doesn't look like part of the picture, actually. They had a picture of their face, and they just painted the hat on them, I believe. I'm not sure. Looks that way, but I got a bunch of the Yankees that are in the lineup every day, and now they have Yankee caps. Willie Randolph. You can barely see his insignia on the hat in this picture. But these moves were made at the end of 1975, and this is called the traded card set. So you get all these Yankees. So I picked that up, and we're about to get started here. Rudy May is on the mound for the Mets. For the Yankees. He's 15-10 with a 3.72 ERA, 220 innings pitched, and he's going to be facing Vern Rule. Vern Rule was 9-12 with a 3.92 ERA in 1976. We're using inside pitch baseball. Fun little game where you roll a red and a white. The red is the column, the white is the row. That'll give you instructions as to where to look. Usually it's the walks, strikeouts, and home runs off the pitcher's card, and everything else comes off the batter's card and the ballpark card. And then, of course, you have the 20-sided die, and that basically answers some of the issues and so forth when you roll that. So you would roll the 3 dice, and we are keeping stats not on paper today, but we're keeping stats on ball score, which I'm slowly but surely learning a little bit. And we're about to get started. So it's going to be Rudy May. He's going to face Ron LaFleur, Mickey Stanley, and Willie Horton. Now, one thing that I have going or in my mind lately is running a series where a computer game is going to sim all the teams, except I'm going to input the team that I'm playing. There's a few of the guys that do this, ID Gesture, Baseball Demos, and I think this is something that I'm inclined to try out, simply because it would be fun to have leaderboards and just up-to-date batting averages for guys and see how they're doing when a team comes to town or we travel to to face a team, and all of a sudden I'm not really familiar with that team. I can look and see and be like, wow, this guy's having a good season, or this guy's really struggling. That would be interesting. I guess that's one aspect of it. And just having, because all I have here, for example, would be Ron LaFleur's batting 375. He's got 8. So that's all I really have. So I know how the teams are doing against me, but I don't know how the teams are doing overall in the season. And that would be an aspect that would be fun to do. So I don't know how I'm going to approach that. Good morning, Salvador. Good to see you. So anyway, let's continue with the lineup here. Ron LaFleur in center field. Mickey Stanley, he's the left fielder and batting second. Willie Horton, the DH. And Rusty Staub in the cleanup spot in right field. Jason Thompson, first baseman. I believe he's a rookie in 1976. Aurelio Rodriguez, third base, batting sixth. Batting seventh is Tom Verizor. I call him Verizon all the time. So Tom Verizor at shortstop, batting seventh. Batting eighth is Gary Sutherland, second baseman. And then Bruce Kim, someone else who I think is a rookie as well. But I have to check up on that. Catcher Bruce Kim will be batting ninth. So let's get started. Inside pitch. It's practically chartless baseball, other than the you need charts for the base running until you memorize them. So it's going to be 5-5, and that's going to be a potential grounder error. We're going to look at LaFleur. That's a 5-3, and that's a fly to center, so there is no error. One down. And here you have Rudy May. You have a Topps baseball card of Rudy May and a Topps baseball card of Vern Rule with their teams. The nice thing about playing in the 60s, it's if I'm going to learn a new game, I'm going to play the 60s. Yeah, that's a good question, Salvador. And that's what one of my considerations is. Now, I know that Stratomatic is a little bit archaic in terms of its technology, its sim games, its computer games. You don't do any more than hear people complain of the struggles that they have with that game. So I have that, I own that, and but I don't own the season. So you got to buy whatever season you're going to try that with. You're gonna have to buy the season. So then I played, and it was pretty easy to manage. It was Replay Baseball. Replay Baseball has a sim mechanism which will allow me to do that, and it was pretty easy to handle. I know Replay Baseball because I played it, so that's the one I'm thinking of using. Inside Pitch, great game, but I think it doesn't manage the teams for you, from what I understand. In other words, you got to manage both teams. I don't get that. The AI is lacking in that system, but I'm still researching. I'm still researching which system I'm going to use, and that's pretty much it. Those are the systems really I know of. If anybody has any suggestions, I'm open to hear those suggestions. So Mickey Stanley steps into the box. He's a right-handed batter. These cards don't have the age of the player on there. It just gives me an idea if he's a veteran. I know Mickey Stanley's a veteran. I know he played in the 60s, but I was wondering if he's 36, 37, how old he was. And here's the pitch to Mickey Stanley from Rudy May, left-hander. 3-2, and that's going to be blank, so we're going to read off of Mickey Stanley's card. And that's a 3-6, and that's going to be off a lefty. That's going to be driven into the gap, and that's going to split the outfield and roll to the wall. Mickey Stanley's in there with a double. One-out double for Mickey Stanley. Next is Willie Horton. Willie Horton, in 114 games, hit 14 home runs, batted .262. So over the course of the season, that's about half the season. So you're saying proportionally he would have hit about 21 home runs, would have had maybe 75 RBIs. For 1976 is a power hitter season. Willie Horton. Snake Eyes. Question mark home run versus a righty. That's going to be a 1 or 2. So that's really, really low. So it's a question mark home run on Snake Eyes off Rudy May's card. And 1 or 2 versus a right-handed batter. And we roll a 7. So we're going to have to, that's not going to be a home run. We're going to roll off of Willie Horton's card, see what happens here. That's a 6-4, and that's line and caught by the shortstop. Now, this is where sometimes you got to pull up the chart because this is a potential double play. So it's hit to shortstop, and there's a runner at second base. So runner at second, and it's hit to shortstop. On a 2 or 3, it's going to be a double play. 6-4 double play. And it's lined at the shortstop. Verizor and tries to get him a second, but not in time. Late tag. So it's L6. So Willie Horton lines out for out number 2. Let me find my view. I lost my scoreboard. There it is again. 2 outs. Excuse me. Rusty Staub. And I got Rusty Staub's card here in this latest purchase of Topps baseball cards, Reliving the Past. Rusty Staub with his new helmet. Detroit. Where did he come from? Le Grand Orange goes to the Motor City in a 4-player trade. Rusty Staub from the New York Mets in a 4-player trade announced today. Staub is coming off his most productive season with 105 RBIs in 1975. So the Mets got rid of him for Mickey Lolich. Mets had an awful season in '76, so that trade didn't help them much. Rusty Staub. Let's roll here, see what happens. Lovely interaction in this game. I really highly recommend this game. Lovely, lovely interaction. 15 wins by pitcher was a decent year. Yeah, well, 20 homers, making a player power hitter during any particular season back then. Yep, that's true, Salvador. And 15 wins. Well, 15 wins is a good season today or even yesterday. So 15 wins is a good season. All right, so it's going to be Rusty Staub. He's a left-handed batter. 15 home runs, 96 RBIs in 1976. So had a good season for the Detroit Tigers. So it was a good trade for Detroit. He was in the lineup every day, played 161 games. And here we go. That's going to be a 4-4, and that's going to be a tired single. So it's going to be blank, and we're going to go over to Staub's card with a runner at second base. That's a 3-5, and that's a ground ball to first base, and that's Chambliss. Chambliss is going to take it himself, and that retires the side. All right, so it's Vern Rule. Vern Rule was 9-12 with 3.92 ERA versus Mickey Rivers. Mick the Quick Rivers. I did not really check these lineups. I just pulled them from Ball Score. So I just double check the lineups, make sure everything looks about right. Because sometimes there's little errors in there. Gamble, Piniella, Gamble, Nettles, Piniella. Yep, looks about right. And Mason starting at shortstop. Mason in 77, if you're keeping track of the 1977 replay, that Time Machine is doing. He just played Toronto, and Jim Mason plays on Toronto, and so does Otto Velez, 2 players from the Yankees that were lost in the expansion draft to the Toronto Blue Jays. So Mickey Rivers. Now Mickey Rivers was off to a hot start, and then he kind of fell a little bit into a slump, and he's batting .270 now. In reality, he was one of the top 10 hitters in 1976, batting .312. So he'll pick it up pretty soon. I got no doubt about that. Now, that's a potential error. So let's see what happens here. That's a 66, and that's a fly to right. So let's look at the errors on the fly to right. Out there is, let me check the defense. It's Rusty Staub. So let's see what Staub is looking like. Error rating of 5. We rolled a 19. So it's a catch. Easy peasy out for Rivers. 1 away. Roy White is next. Roy White is tearing up the league at a 375 clip with 88 at-bats and 33 hits. 17 RBIs, 4 doubles, 1 triple, and 5 home runs. Holy smokes. 64, and that's a range play off of Roy White. So this is a potential hit. 2-5, and that's a fly ball to left. So we're going to roll for range, and that's a 5. Oh, that's going to be beyond the range of the left fielder. That's going to drop in there for a hit. Mickey Stanley, no way he's a 5 fielder, but you never know. Let's double check. In left field, he is a 3. So that's going to drop in there. So let's see if it's a 5 or a 6. And that falls in and around first and into second base with a bloop double is Roy White. So here you have Thurman Munson, the captain, also known as the Walrus. He was the 1976 AL MVP. He's batting .330 with 18 RBIs, 7 doubles, 3 home runs. He's 31 for 94. Here's the pitch to Thurman Munson. That's a 4-3, and a 4-3 is going to be a potential walk. We roll a 12, and Munson doesn't like to walk, so we're going to roll off his card. That's a 1-4, and that's going to be a fly to left. It's out number 2. Excuse me. And I played playoff fight 77 last night. The Royals rode a 5-run 5 and 5th and 6-run 6. Wow. I don't like to hear that there, Salvador. They beat the Yankees 11-2 in game 1 of a 3-game set. Both teams are now 2-2 so far. Very cool. Thank you for the update, sir. I'd like you to continue to do that because I do keep up with this sort of thing with everybody's replays, particularly in the time periods that I'm interested in. But I'm so desperate for replays now. I drive an hour and 15 minutes, maybe an hour and a half every day because I travel from place to place for my job, and locally. And what do I do when I get in the car? Is I keep up with the replays. I just turn, I connect my phone, I look for the replay on YouTube, and I just play it on my radio and I listen to it, and I have a blast doing that. It takes me to another time and place. So Chris Chandler's left-handed batter. Chris Chandler's batting .228. He raised his average about 100 points over the last 15 games. So he's been on a tear for the Yankees, and that's helped out. We got a runner in scoring position. This is an opportunity for the team of the Yankees to get a 1-0 lead here. There's 2 outs, and Vern Rule is going to have to bear down here. That's going to be a 3-1. That's a potential walk, a 10 versus a righty. It's a 6. Plus, it's a -2 at Yankee Stadium. So we're going to roll off of Chambliss and see if Chambliss can do something for us here. And nope, it's going to be a fly to center, shallow center. And Ron LaFleur puts it away. That retires the side. We go to Rudy May, the top of the second. Let's get going here a little bit. Jason Thompson steps in the box. That's a 3-5, and that's going to be a potential K of 1. Strike 3. Blows one by. Oh, didn't want to hit that, but it's okay. Jason Thompson's out. Aurelio Rodriguez is next, third baseman. That's a 3-2. That's a blank, so we're looking off Rodriguez's card. It's a 5-1, and that's going to be a ?7. ?7 is a hit versus a lefty is only a hit up to 7, and we roll a 4, so that's going to drop in there. And White is going to try to get to it, and he does, but Aurelio Rodriguez is going to hustle over to second base for a 1-out double. So, all right. Tommy Verizor. That's a 5-2. That's a blank. I'm going to look at Verizor's card now. It's a 1-3, and versus a lefty, it's a double, but with it, it's pulled down the line and into the right field corner, and right there is Gamble. Nice play by Gamble. Got a good jump on that ball. Rodriguez is going to hold the second base. We're not moving him on that. And it's Gary Sutherland. He's the 8th place batter. He has a different colored card simply because he ended the season with Milwaukee, so you have to pull him out of Milwaukee. But you get every single player. That's why I play these games. Well, that's one of the main reasons I play these games. You get every player. I can play an actual lineup without having to go through my computer or 1,000 different things. Gary Sutherland against Rudy May. Sutherland batted .211, so not much of a hitter, but that's never stopped anybody. 6-2, it's going to be a blank versus a righty. It would be an out versus a lefty. That's a 4-3, and that's going to be popped up to the infield, left side. Right there is Nettles, makes the catch, and that retires the side. So that was a pretty quick inning. Bottom of the second. Oscar Gamble. Oscar Gamble's batting .216. 5-2, that's a potential K, and it is strike 3. Down on strikes is Gamble. Next batter is Nettles, and then on deck is Lou Piniella. Greg Nettles, and that's a 1-3, and that's going to be a potential hit by pitch. -1 for, just barely misses him. We're going to roll off Nettles now. 1-out double. So this is doubles day. Vern Rule versus Lou Piniella. That's a 6-4. That's a range play off Pinella's card, so this will be exciting. That's a 2-4 range play second baseman. Don't know what that is. Oh, that's going to be a base hit. Base hit by the second baseman. So I guess it would be an S4 or a failed, I guess it would be a failed range check. But it would be to the infield, right, on a grounder. S4. And then what we'll do is, yeah, makes sense. All this stuff makes sense. So S4, what we're going to do is check and see. So going from second to home is on an S4 is a 2 or better. So I think Nettles is going to make it. I believe this is going to be an RBI single for Lou Piniella, and he's a 2. So it is an RBI single for Lou Piniella. Yanks are up 1-0. Willie Randolph next. Willie Randolph is an interesting story. Started batting off about 200, 190, and all of a sudden, over the last 15 games, his batting average has shot up to 325. He's batting 325 with 3 doubles, no triples, and no home runs. Willie Randolph, and we got him in our set of Topps baseball cards. There he is. Where is he? Where's Willie Randolph? There he is, Willie Randolph. Excuse me. So he's up now. Picked him up from the Pittsburgh Pirates. There's 1 out, runner on first, Lou Piniella. Here's the pitch to Willie Randolph. That's a 6-5. That's a blank, so we're looking off Randolph's card. And 5-1, and that's going to be a question mark. The ball hit to right field. And a ball hit to right field versus a righty. We're looking up to 8. We roll a 6, and that's going to be a ball that's pulled down the line. Actually, Randolph goes the other way and drives it into the corner. And around second is Randolph. Scoring easily is Piniella. Randolph is going to try for 3. Here's the relay, and he is safe with a triple. That's his first triple of the year. So a 1-out triple puts the Yankees up by a score of 2-0. Jim Mason, not a real threat of any kind. 1-6. It's going to be a potential strikeout versus a righty. It is strike 3. Mason is out on strikes. That's a card I don't have. Jim Mason. I have to get him from year before, year after, but I won't have him with the Yankees because I don't think he came with the Yankees. I don't think they had a card for him. But I have to look into that further. He may have a card for 75. I'm not sure. Mickey Rivers now. He's 0 for 1. Batting average is under 270, 267. All right, well, there's 2 outs, and Willie Randolph is at third base. It's a 2-1. A 2-1 is going to be a blank, so Mickey Rivers is going to have a chance for an RBI here off his own card, and that's going to be line base hit center field. 3-0 Yankees. So there you go. Mick the Quick. And he's always a danger to have on the base pass. So we roll a 4, so he's going to get his lead. And now we're going to roll for stolen base. Now, rule is a 0. Kim, I don't know what Kim is, but he's right. Oh, he's a -2. Holy smokes. So he's a defensive catcher. He's got a cannon behind the plate, or at least he's graded that way, and that's based on the metrics. So Kim at a -2 is going to bring Rivers down to a 15. So we're going to roll for, there goes Rivers. Throw down is, not in time. So Mickey Rivers just got in there with a 15 on a 1-15. So that was exactly what Rivers needed. So he steals, I'm not sure what that stolen base is, but I'll check the box score. That is Mickey Rivers' 13th stolen base of the season. He stole 70 in 1975. He was in the top base stealers of that season. So now with 2 outs, there's a runner on second for the Yankees. The Yankees are up 3-0. The Yankees 17-6 to start off 1976. They make it all to the World Series. Wow, that's a tremendous. You're taking on a crazy project, man. You're going to need a lot of staying power at that project, because that's a project that's going to take you years, my friend. All right, Roy White. Pitch from Vern Rule, 1-4. That's a blank, so we're looking at Roy White's card. It's a 6-6, and that's a fly-out, pop-up, left field. And right there is Mickey Stanley, puts it away, and that retires the side. But the Yanks pick up 3, and they lead it by a score of 3-0. Go to top of the third, and it's Bruce Kim 2-3. That's a potential strikeout versus a lefty. Not going to be. We'll look off Kim's card. So he gets an opportunity. And that's a ground ball to Randolph. Randolph throws him out. All right. We flip the lineup now. It's Ron LaFleur. And that's a 3-6. That's a range play at the ballpark. These are always fun. Range play at the ballpark. So Yankee Stadium. That's a 6-6, and that's going to be a ground ball, second base. So that's going to be a range play. He's a 5, I believe, and it's a 6. So that's by Randolph into right. Base hit for Ron LaFleur. And Ron LaFleur is also a threat to steal. We roll a 15, and that does not get him. That does not get him the lead. So. So with one out, Ron LaFleur is at first base. It's Mickey Stanley. That's a 1-4. 1-4 is a potential wild. 14. Nope. So we're going to go over to Stanley's card, and that's a 1-4 now. 1-4 is a ground ball to third base. This may be a double play. We're going to roll for that double play. A 2. They may turn it because Mickey Stanley's a 3. He's a 4. They do 5-4-3 round the horn double play. I feel I get a lot of those. 5-4-3 run double play. And that retires the side. We go to the bottom of the third. Thurman Munson. The captain, 2-4. That's going to be at ballpark. So we're going to look at the ballpark card instead of Munson's card. And let's see what happens. We get a 2-1. 2-1 is going to be a ground ball up the middle and through into center field for a base hit. So Thurman Munson keeps up the hot hitting using the ballpark. Chris Chambliss, he flied out to center. That's going to be a 3-2 is wild. A wild 19 is not going to be wild. So we're going to go off Chambliss's card. And that's a 2-4. And that's going to be, question mark 9. Versus a righty. This is one I don't understand. He's got a lot of triples here. For a guy that hit 6 triples over almost 700 plate appearances, he's got a 15-19 triple, and we roll a 2 this time, so it's going to be a base hit. And he ground balled through into right field. So a base hit to right. So we're going to see if we can get to third base on this, which I doubt. S9. First to third is a +2. So a +2, and Munson's a 4. So that's a 6. And the Rusty Staub's arm out there is a +1. So that's an automatic. There's no throw. So Munson goes over to third on this single. All right, this is the early morning edition of CP Cards and Dice 1976 Yankees replay. And it's going to be Oscar Gamble. Gamble is classically known for his blaxploitation fro. This is the era of the blaxploitation movies, the Shaft movies, the Blackula movies. So look at that fro. That's class. He's a cool cat. He could have been a definitely in one of those films easily. Handsome guy. All right. Oscar Gamble. He struck out in his first at bat in the second inning. Cleopatra Jones. All the martial arts movies with Bruce Lee in the 70s. Yeah, well, I'm trying to drink a little coffee on the side here. It's not helping me much. I hate to have that going on. All right, Oscar Gamble. Try to first and third, nobody out. So Vern Rule is he's in a pickle. to say the least here. So we're going to have to see what happens with Vern Rule. Keep a close eye on him. Pitching coach is going to go out there. And if I can look and see who the actual, let me see. I have this 1977 guide to all the teams, and it was Ralph Houck. Ralph Houck is the manager in 77. I don't know. Maybe I should have gotten the 76 guy too, because it's Ralph Houck in 77, but it's not always the same manager from 76 to 77. So I should have gotten the 76. That's the problem. See, 77 will give you all the stats for 76, so I can look up what this guy did, what that guy did, and so forth. And the 76 book would give me all the stats for 75, which I don't really need. But when you get the 76 book, you have basically the right manager. And there's certain things you would get with that. But this is an interesting book. You can get it pretty cheaply, about $4. Jimmy the Greek's 1977 Baseball Handbook. And this was like something that was given away by Pipe and Supply Company. So that's how popular, the average Joe, the working guy, was into baseball. And his business would give out baseball, just, I guess, information and so forth, just to get publicity for his business, which is cool. It says a lot about, the past, our past. All right. So Vern Rule versus Oscar Gamble here, runners on first and third, and Detroit down 3-0. It's still early, so they're going to keep. They're going to have the middle infield halfway. This would be a 5-4, and a 5-4 is a potential strikeout versus a righty. That's going to be a 6 and a 6, and that's a strikeout. Second time that Oscar Gamble strikes out, and then it's Craig Nettles. 5-5, that's going to be versus a righty. It's going to be but this is a lefty. It'd be a single versus a righty. So those are his Vern Rule splits. But versus a lefty, we're going to roll off Craig Nettles. That's a 1-3. A 1-3 is going to be versus a righty. It's going to be a ground ball through into right field. So it's an RBI single. And an S4, see if we can get to third base. An S4, first to third, is a 3 or better. Let's see what Chambliss is. It is going to be a 3 or better. Yeah, because he's a 2, but Rusty Staub is a 3. So Chambliss is going to hustle over to third base. RBI single for Greg Nettles. I got to go back because I didn't put him to third base. Darn it. All right. Okay, so ground ball through the right side. Munson scores, and on the way to third is Chambliss. So first and third, 4-0. And I'm just hoping that Vern Rule can settle down a little bit so I don't have to start making pitching changes so early in the game, because that creates havoc, that wreaks havoc in my life with all the pitching changes. So this is we're plotting here in this game, and there's a lot of going on here, a lot of guys reaching base. Luke Pinella's up next, runners on first and third against Vern Rule, who's so far allowed 8 hits and any walks, no walks. He struck out 3, in 2 and third inning. So Vern Rule's really struggling here from the onset. Gave up an early 1-out double to Roy White, but it was the second inning where the Yanks got to him for 3 runs. And we're in the third here. Runners on first and third with only 1 out. 4-0 Yankees. Here's a pitch, 3-4. And that's going to be a potential throwing error. So we're going to have to look at Lou Pinella's card. That's a 4-4. A 4-4 is a fly ball to shallow left. This may be a second batter, and we got it. So that's deep enough, and that's going to score. Who's that going to score? Chris Chambliss. 5-0 Yankees. So sacrifice fly for Lou Piniella. And next is Willie Randolph. Willie Randolph, we have his card here. He came over with Doc Ellis for Doc Medich. Yeah, exactly. Crazy. You make trades in baseball, you don't know what's what. You don't know what's going to happen or how they're going to end up. You're giving away an all-star second baseman, a guy who becomes a mainstay in the Yankees starting lineup for the next 14 years. for Doc Medich, and who was an okay pitcher, but really, I think he basically peaked early, and that was it. So plus, you give the Yankees a 19-game winner, oh no, 17-game winner in 1976, which was Doc Ellis, who still had a little bit left in him, a little life left in that arm. He was a heck of a pitcher early on, and then of course towards the late 70s and early 80s, he basically faded. Willie Randolph, 2 outs now, and on first is Greg Nettles. Playing inside pitch, the way you play inside pitch is use the red for the column, the white for the row. Easy peasy. And then, of course, this is like a decide or die. This will give you information as to what is the result. It'll ask you here. Fun game, pretty easy to learn. Base running has got a little bit of more of a curve, but eventually you get it. I'm still working on it, so I'm not there yet. So I'm not going to toot my own horn here. 5-2, and that's a K, a K10. We're looking at a K4, so the 10 is much higher than a 4. So we're going to go off Randolph. So Randolph's going to get a chance here. Now, he tripled in the second inning, RBI triple. So it's going to be a 3-6, and that's going to be a ground ball to third. That's Aurelio Rodriguez up with it. He's going to fire to first, and he gets Randolph, and that retires the side. Holy smokes. All right, 2 more runs for the Yanks. They lead at 5-0. They have a heck of a team here. Not used to playing, these teams that actually win. With my 69 replay and my 77 replay, after my 1979 Mets replay, I got 2 teams, the Mets and the Yankees, that are definitely can win some ball games. So I'm not used to that. All right, so it's Rudy May and Willie Horton. And that's going to be versus a righty. It's going to be a question mark. So we're going to roll. It's not a question mark, but a blank. So we're going to roll off Horton's card. That's a 5-6, and that's going to be a star line 5 result, which is a fly to left. 1 down, Rusty Staub. And we have Rusty Staub right here. Got his card in the traded set as well. One of my subscribers told me about that traded set. Who's in town? Hey, Forever Remain 90. Love that. In yesterday's game, you played the double. Oh yeah, that's right. You're absolutely right, sir. And I remember that, and I realized that as well. And somehow, my brain froze. It was just my brain froze, and I looked at that, and I was supposed to read it off the right side, and I believe I read it as a home run. But I think it was a blowout, right? The game was a blowout. I don't think it made any difference. Yeah, you looked at home run. Yes, exactly. Yep, I looked at the home run. I was supposed to look at this side. I'm still, my brain is still learning the card and where things are and where to look. It's a little bit tricky. Sometimes I also have a tendency over here on the batter card, when it's a K or when it's a walk, I have a tendency to look at the number to the left, and I have to look at the number to the right. So I have to check myself. Anytime there's a walk, I double check myself, make sure I see the K, and then I see the walk. So yes, sir, I'm still learning this. This is only how many games? 20. This is my 24th game in inside pitch, really. So I'm still focusing in on this and learning. But thank you for that heads up on that. Appreciate that. All right, Rusty Staub. And there's this card. Le Grand Orange goes to the Motor City. This is a cool Topps card. I love this. I love having these cards because, I don't remember these players. I was a young kid, and that's a long time ago. So just to see them in their youth and so forth, you see them now, and of course, we're all old guys now, but Detroit Tigers have acquired a slugger. So he was considered a slugger at that time. That's interesting. In Rusty Staub drove in 105 RBIs in 75, and in 1976, Munson drove in 105 RBIs, but Munson was the AL MVP. So that tells you about driving in 105 runs with 17 home runs is a guy that's really hitting in a lot of clutch situations. And Staub was with the New York Mets in 75, who weren't a very good team. So to drive in 105 runs, he must have really been super clutch, beyond clutch. And it says, I like what it's rattle, and he is expected to rattle the right field fences in Detroit with his line drives throughout the 76 campaign. And what does he do in 76? Hits 15 home runs. That's 299. And again, 15 home runs was, respectable for 1976. You had 15 home runs, and they were like, the guy's got some power. All right, 1 out. That's a 2-6. That's going to be a potential strikeout. And we're looking at a left-handed pitcher. That's way over that number. So we're going to look at Rusty Staub. And that's a 3-2. 3-2 is a ground ball to short. That's Jim Mason. Throws him out. So Rusty Staub grounds out, and next batter is Jason Thompson. There's 2 outs here in the top of the fourth. 3-1. 3-1 is a range play. Range play off Jason Thompson's card. 6-4. And that's going to be a star line 3, which is a ground ball to second baseman Randolph. Will he get to it? And he does. Randolph is a 5 range. So Randolph has tremendous range and throws out Thompson, and that retires the side. So heck of a pickup. I'm surprised the Pittsburgh Pirates let a player like Randolph go. I'd like to look and see who the Pittsburgh Pirates had at hey, thank you, man. A great guideline. Thank you so much for the comment. I'd like to know who the was it Phil Garner at second base in 76? Not sure. I wonder who because the Pirates had somebody at second base where they looked at Randolph and said, pretty good player, but we don't need him. We got a really good second baseman. He's going to be here to stay for a long time. So I'm wondering who the Pirates had at second base, and I believe it was Phil Garner at second base. And I think it was Richie Hebner at third base on that 76 team. So they saw Phil Garner and said, hey, this is a heck of a player. We don't need 2 second basemen, so we can let this guy go. For Doc Medich, that'll beef up our starting pitching. So Jim Mason's not much of a hitter. He steps into the box. He's a left-handed hitter, and he batted only 180. Here's the pitch from Vern Rule. 5-5. 5-5 against a righty would be a single, but Jim Mason's a lefty. So we're going to go 6-6, and that's going to be a single through by the first baseman into right. So Jim Mason manages a hit on the 6-6 result. S3. And it's Mickey Rivers. Mick the Quick. He's 1 for 2. He singled and stole a base. 6-5. That's a blank, so we're looking off Rivers' card. That's a 1-6, and that's going to be popped up right side, first baseman. And who's the first baseman there? Gotta remember that. That's going to be Jason Thompson. Makes the catch. 1 out. Roy White. Pitch from Vern Rule. 4-2 versus he's batting lefty, so it's going to be a blank. He's a switch hitter. 5-1. That's going to be a star line 1, which is a ground ball to first base. This may turn into a double play. Roy White is a 2-0. Do we have any? I don't believe we have any pivot modifiers. Nope, 0-0. So we're looking at a 2-3. We're looking at a 3 or less. It's a double play, and nope, they just get Mason on the fielder's choice at second base. He breaks it up. So. What do we say it was going to be? It was a 3-6. 3-6 fielder's choice. All right, 2 outs now. And Thurman Munson. I got a new Thurman Munson card. There he is. My old Thurman Munson card was damaged. It was something wrong with it. I don't know. It was something wrong with his uniform. And there's Thurman Munson set, which I wanted to replace because, Thurman Munson is the heart and soul of my team. So I was like, I can't have a defective Thurman Munson card. It looks like he's wearing a camel uniform. I don't know exactly how that happened, but look at the difference there. You see that? Plus, it's cut off weird at the top. So I don't know if these guys are making copies of these cards. They may be making copies of these cards, 2-sided copies. You could do that, of course. And these sets, they go, if you make a copy of the whole set, I don't know how much it's going to cost. I don't know if it's going to be profitable, to be honest with you. But some sets can go for $1,000, just not 76. 76 is going for about $200 the whole season. So if you're making all these colored copies, unless you're working out of a big printing shop where you work and nobody's going to charge you for the ink you're using, and you have advanced printers, then you could do that, right? You can set it up to get every team and lay them on a 8.5 by 11 or even a larger sheet, however. But you could do this. But there's something wrong with this card. As you can see, it's got a lot of like damaged discoloration. It's almost like little specks of color. Look, his Yankee uniform looks like a camo uniform. So I had to replace that card. I mean, he is my guy, and he is the guy in the Yankees in the late '70s. Thurman Munson, heart and soul of the Yanks. So he's up now, and he's 1 for 2. He's batting .333, 18 RBIs. He's got 7 doubles, 0 triples, and 3 home runs. So there's 2 outs. Bottom of the 4th. We got a runner on first. That's Roy White. And 5-0. You know what? We're going to try to get a lead for White. And 11. Nope, does not do it. White, in his attempt, +1 on Vern Rule's card would be a 5. We roll an 11. All right, so it's Thurman Munson. That's going to be a 4-6, and that's going to be a blank. So we're looking off Munson's card. It's a 1-2, and that's going to be a ball that's driven into the left center field gap. After it is Ron LaFleur. That's going to be a D7, and we're going to try to score Roy White. Roy White, I believe, is a 3 runner. He's a 4 base runner. Let's look at the base running chart here. A double, and where did we say it was a double 2-1-2? Is a double to left. So double to left is a -1, but there's 2 outs. So that's nullified, and Roy White is a 4. The left fielder's arm, Mickey Stanley's in left field. Mickey Stanley's a 0 left field arm. So we're looking at a 4, a straight up 4. So we're going to roll 2d6, and we're going to look at the throw chart. 2d6, and that's going to be a 1-5. Uh-oh. So check the die roll 1 chart. So the 1 chart is up here, is the blue chart, and we're going to look at the 5 result. We're going to use the 5. So less than or equal to, if the roll is less than or equal to the trailing runner's BR, trailing runner's Thurman Munson, who's a 4. If the roll is higher than the trailing runner, the BR, they hold. Okay, so basically lead runner advances. So that's an RBI double for Thurman Munson, and that's going to be his 19th RBI of the season. And he's going to hold at second base, doesn't advance on the throw. And again, this is 6 runs for Rule, and that's going to have to be it. I think 6 runs is the limit. I asked my sensei, my IP sensei, Cosmic Jerry in the house. Welcome, Cosmic Jerry. Nice to have you, having your coffee, listening to the chat. And I was told it was 6 runs, and you got to pull the guy in IP because he becomes fatigued after 6 runs. And forever can maybe, but there are averages on the cards that are really bad. They need timely hits for sure. Reach there at 80. Let me see. Let me track this conversation. We'll reach there 89 wins. Okay. So anyway, yeah, we're gonna bring in a pinch hitter, and I'm gonna look back in 1976. Let me get into my time machine here, and go back into 1976. And the pitcher that comes out here is Hiller. Is a and they used Bill Laxton, a guy that can give me a few innings. And the game before that, because this is the 3rd game of 3-game series, the game before that, we saw, who did we see? We saw Steve Grilly got a victory. So we got Grilly, and we got Laxton. So let's look. Bill Laxton is a lefty, and he's going to come in. That's going to be it. He can go 14. He can go 14 batters. I may have used them already, but you know what? I'm going to use them again because let me see. He's had a 4.09 average, so ERA. So it's going to be let's a new pitcher, and it's going to be Laxton. You know what? I think I used him already. I think let me go one game further into the future here. Let's see. Next game. I think I used him in last game. That's why I need to play the series, the whole series, because then I remember if you're playing the 3-game series, play out the whole 3-game series before you jump to something else. Because then when you go back in the middle of a series, you're like, oh man, I don't remember. I remember, but I don't remember. So let me look and see. I'm looking into the Detroit Tigers to see what other pitchers they were using. Okay, Crawford. Crawford is another guy they're using, so I can bring in Crawford. Let me pull out Laxton. I remember Laxton going a bunch of innings because I remember that 14, and I said, oh, this is great. This guy can go a bunch of outs. The 14 represents the outs that a relief pitcher can go. Now I'm looking for Crawford. Sometimes there he is, Jim Crawford. He's another lefty. He can go 14 as well. So that's good. All right. That helps me out big time. So let's go to Crawford. Let's put in Crawford. Jim Crawford's going to come in. And it's Jim Crawford against Chris Chambliss, lefty on lefty. And we can look at Chris Chambliss. Do we have the card here? Chris Chambliss has a crazy Topps card. I mean, they took a picture of the inside of the poor guy's nostrils practically. Look at this. Look at with close up, man. Holy smokes. Wow. You can get it. I mean, you can get an action shot of the poor guy. I mean, come on. Take an action shot of him. I saw a really nice action shot. Somebody in one of the sets that I have. Chris Chambliss against Jim Crawford. All right, here goes. Payoff inside pitch, 2 outs. Yanks are up 6-0. 3-4, and that's going to be a potential K on a 15 versus a lefty. That's an 11 minus 3 isn't so. No, the roll is higher than the K number. So that's a 5-6, 5-6, and that's going to be a star line out, ground ball to first base, and that's going to retire the side. One thing I don't see a lot of in inside pitch is a 3-1. So that's something you're gonna have to add in yourself to try to get that 3-1. Oh, that's right. Oh, look at that. Replay PC baseball. Were you in on the earlier conversation about me thinking about picking up the computer game, the replay computer game with the either 69 season or some other season, but I think I'll do it on the 69 season. All right. So I've played replay baseball online, and because they have that free version that give you like 20% of the season, and it's really good. It's really easy to learn, and and I know the game. I've rolled dice on that game already, so that's the one I'm thinking of going with because that'll sim all my other teams, and then I'll be able to input the data for the game that I'm playing and use it as my scorecard and for my box score, rather than using ball stat ball score, which I like, and I got other things going with. But it can be clunky at times, and if you make one big mistake, you could screw up everything. I deleted a player by accident, and I had to restart my league. Luckily, I wasn't a lot of games into it, so I got a lot of stuff going on, and you got to be careful. So now I'm trying to basically narrow the scope by which I am doing these replays. I'm really focusing on 69 Mets and 76 Yankees right now. So that's what I'm doing, even though I have a 2019 Mets deep drive a replay going as well. But that's a totally different world. Using ice, I believe I have a card for Aurelio Rodriguez. Here are my Tigers. These are really boring, stiff poses, terrible cards. There he is, Aurelio Rodriguez. Big mustache. He is from Sonora, Mexico, a town called Cananea. So if you go to Cananea today and say, hey, is Aurelio Rodriguez around? I don't know. He may have passed by this time. And I don't know if he's there anymore. But he's from Sonora, Mexico. Very cool. Aurelio Rodriguez. I remember him as being a defensive third baseman. You always see the actual 25-man roster. Oh my God, that's huge. That way I don't have to go back all the time and see, oh, who's actually pitching for this team at this point in the season. You know, they're not in the minors. They haven't been traded. They're not on the injured list. So that's great. Holy smokes. All right. So I think you basically pushed me and convinced me to make that decision to go with replay PC. But I will wait out and ask around a little bit more. But yeah, now I'm almost convinced. I mean, that's huge, man. Yes. Thank you for that information. All right. Let's get going here on this game. We are in the top of the fifth at 6-0 Yankees. Aurelio Rodriguez versus Rudy May, 5-3. That's going to be a ballpark. I love that about Inside Pitch. Now we go to the ballpark. So basically the ballpark card replaces Aurelio Rodriguez's card. We'll leave his name showing, but he's hitting a Yankee Stadium, and now the Yankee Stadium is going to have an effect on his chances. So it's going to be a 4-5, and that's going to be a fly ball center field. And on the run is Mick the Quick, and makes it. Gets to the ball. And Mick the Quick is really, appreciated by Inside Pitch in that he has a five range rating, which is the top range rating for an outfielder. Tommy Verizor, right-handed batter, batted .234 against Rudy May. 3-5, and that's going to be a potential strikeout against a lefty. We're looking at a 6 minus 3 is a 3, so the 6 is higher than that. So we're going to roll off of Verizor's card a 4-3, and that's a ground ball and through into left field. Roy White is going to get to it quickly, and Tom Verizor thought about going for 2, but changes his mind. Roy White gets it in quickly to Jim Mason. And it's Gary Sutherland now with 1 out and 1 on. Rudy May, the pitch, 5-4. And that's going to be ballpark again. So Gary Sutherland. Oh, where did that go? I lost my white die. That vanished somewhere. Oh, stuck between. Throw that. It's a foul ball, souvenir for a lucky fan. And it's going to be a 4-5. 4-5 off of the Yankee Stadium card. A 4-5 is going to be a fly ball center field, and back goes Rivers, and he gets there. So Mickey Rivers showing his range out in center field. And it's Bruce Kim. All right, so 5-4. 5-4 is going to be again ballpark. That's 3 in a row. 3 ballparks in a row. Bruce Kim. And we're going to roll on the ballpark card for Bruce Kim now. 4-2, and that's going to be a single. And he's thinking about going 4-2, and it looks like he will. And he is what type of a runner? He is a 2-base runner. I'm going to roll a die here. And that's a 6. He's out at second base, so it's a single, and he's thrown out at second base, trying to stretch it into a double. So Mickey Rivers throws him out. Oh, and I gave, let's see what happened there. I may have given it to the left fielder. Oh, no, I gave it to the center fielder. 8-4. So, yep, Bruce Kim trying to stretch the single into a double down by 6 runs. I don't know how could that talk. They're gonna have a little talk with the youngster Bruce Kim in the dugout. All right, it's gonna be Jim Crawford. No, I'm sorry, it's Ron LaFleur. Rudy May versus Ron LaFleur now. Wait, top of the inning. What just happened here? Hold on, 1 out, 2 outs, and that was 3 outs. Okay, so that was the top of the inning. I'll go bottom of the inning. Oscar Gamble should be up. Oscar Gamble versus Jim Crawford. Yeah, bottom of the 5th. That's a 5-3. That's a potential walk. A 1 will be a walk. Ball 4. Versus a left. He's a 15 walk. So Gamble is on a base on balls, and it's Craig Nettles next. And that's a 3-5, and that's going to be ballpark. Again, another ballpark for Craig Nettles. If you get a ballpark home run, that'd be good. 5-5, and that's going to be a ground ball to short. Ground ball to short could turn into a double play. Nettles is a 2, and the infield's halfway. That's a 3. We're going to roll here, and that's a 1, so it's going to be a 6-4-3 double play. 5-5. 6-4-3 double play. Let's try that again. 0, 0. 6-4-3 double play. There it is. All right. So 2 outs. And it's Lou Piniella. Lou Piniella is 1 for 2. No, he's 1 for 1 because his fly out was a sacrifice fly. That's a 6-6. That's wild. So that's going to be foul ball. And we're going to look off of Lou Piniella's card. A 2-1 is a ground ball to shortstop Verizon. And he throws him out. That retires the side. We go to top of the 6th. Ron LaFleur leading off against Rudy May. That's a 6-6. That's a blank. That would be a home run, usually in APA. 5-4, and that's going to be ground ball and through into right field for a single. Ron LaFleur is not going to steal here simply because they're down 6-0 in the top of the 6th inning. Mickey Stanley, the batter. 5-5 is going to be a potential error on a grounder. Potential error on a grounder. 5-3 is grounded to short. It's not going to be an error because it's a 19. We may get a double play out of this. Double play is a 3, plus 1's a 4, plus halfway is a 5. We roll a 4, so it's a 6-4-3 double play. 6-4-3 double play, 2 outs. And Willie Horton, 2 outs. Top of the 6th, 6-0 Yankees. 6-1 is a strikeout. A 12 versus a lefty is not. Well, we're going to roll off of Willie Horton's card. 1-5, and that's going to be a ground ball. And the other way and through. Randolph doesn't get to it. So Rusty Staub is at the plate now with the runner on first. Willie Horton singles, a 2-out single. Here's the pitch to Rusty Staub, 4-4. And if he's tired, it's a single, but he is not tired yet. He can go 27 batters. He's only got 18, 19, 20, 21. So we're going to roll off Rusty Staub's card. That's a 6-4, and that's going to be a question mark 8 versus a lefties 1-9, and we roll a 17. So that's a fly ball, center field, and side is retired. Bottom of the 6th, Willie Randolph. Randolph is 1 for 2. 1-6, and that's going to be a walk plus. Walk plus is going to take us versus a lefty is going to take us to 24. So based on balls, Randolph. Mason's going to bat away. No bunting. 2-3. That's blank. We're going to roll off Mason's card. And it's a 2-6, and that's going to be a fly to center. And Mickey Rivers, Mick the Quick. That's 6-2. That's a strikeout potential. For Yankees a 4, so we're going to roll off of Mickey Rivers. That's a 1-5 fly to right, and it's Roy White. Let's see if we got Roy White somewhere. There's actually one action shot here in my deck. It's Oscar Gamble with the Cleveland Indians. Got to put him back in with Cleveland. Roy White is another crazy close-up. All right, 2 outs, runner on first. Willie Randolph is at first base, and it's going to be Crawford, let's see how many Crawfords has gone now. He's gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 so far. He can go 14. Here's the pitch to White, 6-1. That's a fatigued single, but he's not fatigued, so we're going to roll off White's card. A 2-3, and that's a ground ball to third. Aurelio Rodriguez throws him out, and that retires the side. And Jason Thompson versus Rudy May. 6-6, that's a blank. Home run in Appa. And it's a 2-4, and that's a fly ball, shallow left. Roy White's there, 1 away. Aurelio Rodriguez, he's 1 for 2. 3-3, that's a blank. And a 4-6 is a ground ball through the left side into left field by the shortstop, Jim Mason. So Rodriguez on with a single, 1-out single. Tommy Verizor. 3-2, that's a blank, so we're looking off Verizor's card. And that's a 4-2, that's a single to center, base hit. And it's down by 6 runs. Rodriguez is going to hold it second. Gary Sutherland. That's a 6-3, and that's going to be a potential walk. And 18 is not going to do it. Too high a number. 2-1. That's a ground ball second base. This could be a potential double play. We're looking at a 3 on. Oh, it's going to be a 4, a 5, 5 or less, and we roll a 2. So a 2-1. It's going to be a 4-6-3 double play. Inning over. So Yankees have a great defense. That's one thing I have to make clear. They have a great defense in 1976. And that gets them all the way to the World Series. Bottom of the 7th. Bottom of the 7th. Who's up? The captain. Let's see if I could track Thurman Munson. The captain, Thurman Munson, against Jim Crawford. That's a 4-5, and that's going to be blank for a righty. Thurman Munson bats right. Hit 302. That's going to be 4-5, and that's going to be line drive, base hit to left. Playing it on a hop is Mickey Stanley, and Thurman Munson is on with a single. Next is Chris Chambliss. Chambliss is 1 for 3 on the day, batting .232. And I don't really have another first baseman on the Yanks. Anybody that can play first base? Sandy Alomar, but I don't think he's with the team yet. Otto Velez can play first base. And you know what? We're going to bring in Otto Velez to pinch hit. We're going to bring in Otto Velez to pinch hit just for the fun of it. And then he's going to play first base a little bit. All right. So here is Jim Crawford versus, and he's gone 9. Well, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is 10th batter. Can go 14. 3-3. That's going to be blank. So we're looking off of Velez's card, and that's a 2-5, and that's going to be fly to right. 1 out. So Velez flies out, and it's Oscar Gamble. That's a 2-3, and that's going to be a blank. So we're rolling off of Gamble's card, and a 5-1, and that's line caught by the second baseman. Now with a runner at first, a line out to the second baseman is going to be a 1 or 2 is going to be a double play, and it's a 5, so no double play there. So line out to second base, and the way we do that is a 0 line out. Is a Z. And next is Greg Nettles. We got Greg Nettles here somewhere. Baseball Greg Nettles, we're looking for him. He's up next. There we go. Left-handed batter. Been struggling for us here in the replay. He's got 2 hits today. Got his batting average to 174. Hit 32 home runs. He's got only 1 for us. So let's see if he can get it. He eventually should start hitting home runs. So a month into the season, he's got 1 home run. But if you figure, I mean, at 32 home runs, you're hitting about 5 times 6 is 30. So you're hitting about 5 a month, approximately. All right, here's the pitch from Jim Crawford, 4-6. 4-6 is a potential K, but we roll a 20, so that's going to be beyond K. We're going to roll off Nettles' card. A 2-4, and that's going to be a star line, ground ball, second base. And that's the inning. So Greg Nettles grounds out. Pinch hitter was placed. Okay, so we got to put defense. We're going to put Otto Velez at first base. Can play first base. Huh? That's weird. I don't know what that means. It says, I put in Velez at first base, and it says, you have chosen to fill all the remaining cells on. Yes, okay, that's yes. All right, good. Bruce Kim against Rudy May. This is the last batter for Rudy May. This is his 27th batter. So let's see what happens here. That's a 5-2. 5-2 is a blank. We're going to look at Bruce Kim's card. A 6-2, and that's going to be stroked into the gap, and that's going to be a double for Bruce Kim. One out, a no-out double, leadoff double for Bruce Kim, and that's going to be all for Rudy May. Very simple to bring in relief pitchers at this time. In this sort of game, you bring in Dick Tidrow. The Yankees only use 2 relief pitchers, Dick Tidrow and Sparky Lyle. Every so often they use Tippy Martinez, but Tippy Martinez is going to get traded June 15th, and we're in May. So in a month, he'll be traded. He only had 11 appearances for the Yanks. So in April, May, half of June, what is that? About 75 games. He's used once every 7 games or so, approximately. Not too good with math, but Bruce Kim doubles. Dick Tidrow is going to face Ron LaFleur. LaFleur has had a pretty good day, hitting the Yankees at a 455 clip. Ron LaFleur, the speedster, center fielder. I remember as a kid watching a made-for-TV movie about Ron LaFleur and how he was convicted and paid his debt to society and then became a baseball player and so on and so forth. He kind of rags to riches story for Ron LaFleur. We're in the top of the 8th inning at 6-0 Yankees. We replaced Rudy May. He reached his maximum of batters faced. And it's Dick Tidrow now, so I got to write in Dick Tidrow. Thank God I took my time to do that, because then it becomes a headache later to go back and to fix everything. All right. Here it goes. That's a 4-4 off Tidrow, and that's going to, against a righty, it's a potential strikeout. We rolled a 5, and it is strike 3. So blows one by. Dirt Tidrow blows one by Ron LaFleur. Mickey Stanley. That's 6-6. That's going to be a potential K, and a 5 will do it. Oh, wait, it won't do it. Yes, it does do it. Strike 3. Back-to-back Ks for Dick Tidrow, making his presence known. 2-4 against a righty. Another righty. That's going to be a K+. We rolled high, though. We're going to see. It's going to be a 9 plus 10 is a 19. We're rolling 18. Strike 3, and Dick Tidrow comes in and strikes out the side in the top of the 8th inning. Jim Crawford now, keep on counting him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. You know what another good idea would be is to have a little point somewhere that keeps track of your batters faced. If I would love to see that on one of our hey, Sports Time Machine in the house. I will. It wasn't live. I wanted to go on there live, but you weren't live, so I just said, well, I'm going to watch it tomorrow. But yesterday, man, I needed another game. I was desperately looking in every direction. I couldn't find anybody with a game yesterday. In my, when I was driving, I listened to him in my car usually. On the weekends, I listen to him at home. But yeah, I'll put him on my TV, or I'll stream him on my TV, or I'll listen to I'll connect my phone to my car stereo. But guys, please check out Sports Time Machines 1977, the year after this year. So it works out perfectly because they're all the same players, pretty much. But you got the expansion teams, and it's more of a hitter's year. 1977 is more of a hitter's year. But I heard both you guys and I wanted to mention this just to both Sports Time Machine and an Al Red Sox fan who hasn't stopped by today, and I listened to him yesterday. He was doing a cards and dice, and he is great. He's a lot of fun to listen to. And you guys both, when the kind of there was like a foul ball where the dice does roll outside of the little tray and so on, you guys used a term called jump to shark. And jump to shark was a 70s, 80s, late 70s, early 80s term. So right around this time that we're replaying. And it basically denoted a desperate attempt to get attention for a failing program. So Jump to Shark, and really the series that made that famous was the Fonzie series, right? Happy Days. Happy Days was losing, ratings big time towards the end. Of course, it was very highly rated, for a long time. But towards the end, it was becoming unpopular. People were turning in other directions. So they had to do something really, really extravagant and dramatic and over the top, and that was jumping a shark. Like you put somebody, think about somebody in this script room saying, okay, we're going to put Fonzie, Henry Winkler, on some skis, and then we're going to put him, the whole premise is that they're going to be sharks in the water, and he's going to go from one ramp to the other ramp. All right, and this is going to be, a big, huge attraction and it's going to kickstart our ratings again. We're going to start becoming popular again. And that term, jump to shark, becomes famous for that particular approach to getting basic attention for a series or program that is in rapid decline, rapid decay, becoming quickly unpopular. Strategy excellent for your own type season. One up. Yep. All right. So anyway, just want to chat about that. Lou Piniella. So Lou Piniella is coming up. He's facing Crawford. Crawford still has, I think, one or two more batters. 1-6, and that's a walk plus. And against a lefty, he's a 4. So the walk plus is a 14. We roll a 4, so it's good. Ball 4, and Piniella walks. And now we are going to the bullpen for the. And this is the team here. You can look at the team: Ben Ogilvy, Ed Glynn, McCormick, Mankowski, Lane, Marvin Lane, Scrivener, Mark Wagner, Bill Freehan, Jerry Manuel, Dave Roberts. He pitched the first game. Ray Bear pitched the second game. Wackenfuss, Donnie Mayer, Mark the Bird Fidrich, there he is. He'll eventually pitch against the Yanks. Dave Lemanchek, he goes to Toronto, and Sports Time Machine, he started a game for Toronto versus the Yankees in the replay being broadcast by Sports Time Machine. And who's the other guy? Who's the guy I was looking for? Steve Grilly. Bring him in. All right, so Steve Grilly, we're going to have a change of pitchers. Ralph Houck gives Jim Crawford the hook. And from the bullpen appears Steve Grilly. I'm wondering if this Grilly has any connection to the Grilly in the major leagues today. There's another Grilly there. All right, so Steve Grilly versus Willie Randolph. Nobody out. One out, excuse me. One out in the bottom of the 8th. That's a 5-1. So a 5-1 is a potential walk. We roll a 7 versus a righty. That's going to be a 16. So it is ball 4. So Randolph walks. Mason, the batter. 6-1. That's a strikeout, and it is strike 3. Mason down on strikes. And it's Mickey Rivers. Now, Mick the Quick, I had to get him in a traded set thanks to Rick, who came on here and said, hey, you got to get the traded set. They came out with a traded set. I remember these traded sets. Mick the Quick traded to Yankees. And there's this, I think they painted those hats on. Mickey Rivers. 2 outs, runner on first. Pitch from Steve Grilly, 5-1. 5-1 is a potential walk. Now, Rivers is not a guy that likes to walk, so that's going to be a 3 number with a -2 at Yankee Stadium. So that becomes a 1. So we're going to roll. It's going to be 2-6, and that's going to be popped up right side. Jason Thompson there, and that retires the side. So we go to top of the ninth. Top of the ninth, Tidrow is going to face Rusty Staub. Staub is 0 for 3. He's grounded out twice and then flied out. Here's a pitch to Rusty. 3-1, that's wild, so that's a foul ball. And then we're going to go to Rusty. That's a 3-4. 3-4 is a ground ball, first base. Jason Thompson, 4-3. That's a strikeout. A 3 is a strikeout. So Dick Tidrow, his 4th strikeout, struck out the side in the top of the 8th. 4th strikeout. So, and now it's Aurelio Rodriguez, final out. So the Tigers are going to be swept by the Yankees in this 3-game set here at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Aurelio Rodriguez, the pitch from Tidrow, that's a 4-4. 4-4 is going to say versus a righty is a K, a 9, and that's going to be an 8. So no K. So we're going to look at Rodriguez. So he could keep him alive here. 3-6, and that's line base hit center field. So Rodriguez has a 3-hit day. Rodriguez doubled in the 2nd. Rodriguez singled in the 7th and singled again here in the 9th. So 2-out single for Rodriguez. And Tidrow's up to his 7th batter. So after this, he becomes fatigued. And we're going to bring in a pinch hitter, Tom Verizon, the shortstop. We're going to pinch hit for him just for, the kicks of it. Alex Johnson, Danny Meyer is going to come in, or Mayer. Let's see, pinch hitter Mayer. All right, Dick Tidrow versus Danny Mayer. Left-handed hitter, batted .252 with 2 home runs. Goes on to play with, I believe, the Seattle Mariners. I believe he's taken in the expansion draft as well and becomes a starter on the Seattle Mariners. And here's the pitch, and that's a 4-5, and that's going to be versus a lefty's a blank. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. Yeah, 4-5 is going to be a blank versus a lefty, so we're going off Mayer's card, and that's a 5-2. That's a fly to right, and Gamble towards the line and reaches out and makes a catch, and that is the ball game. Yankees win it. The Yankees win by a score of 6-0. And let's see. Let's make sure everything's in order here. And Vern Rule is going to get the loss. The win is going to go to May. And this game was played. What day did I say this game was played? Don't remember off the top of my head. Let's see. Let's find it. Cleveland. Oh, wait, I know what I did. Let's go back a second here. This game was played on the 13th, May 13th. Thursday, May 13th at Yankee Stadium. I'm going to save the box score. And I'll look at the box score right now and give you the highlights. So the line score was Detroit, 0 runs, 11 hits, no errors. The Yankees, 6 runs, 11 hits, and no errors. Rudy May is 4-0 now. Went 7 innings, 10 hits, no runs. Lowered his ERA to 1.29. So a lot of the Yankees have low ERAs. So that may be due to some of the issues I had. Played very conservatively on the bases as I was learning the game early in the season. I'm starting to kind of send players a little bit more now. Ron LaFleur had 2 hits, and Aurelio Rodriguez had 3 hits for the Tigers. But for the Yankees, it was Thurman Munson who went 3 for 4, raised his batting average to .347, had an RBI. That RBI was Munson's 19th of the season. So he's got 19 after about a month. So you're looking at close to 100, and that's what he drove in. He drove in 100 runs, 105 runs in 1976, was the AL MVP. Greg Nettles had 2 hits, raised his average to 172. So, yeah, he started off very, very slow, and and really he's been out to take extra batting practice every day. I mean, we've seen him out here early on, and it's paying off. He drove in a run and scored a run. And there was no home runs in this game. No home runs. It was a triple by Willie Randolph. Randolph went 1 for 2, batting .329. Gamble didn't get a hit. Dotto Velas came in and pinch hit and replaced Chris Chambliss, who went 1 for 3. So that's going to be it for this broadcast of the 1976 Yanks. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And thanks for all the information. Philip Reynolds in the house. Welcome, Philip Reynolds. Philip Reynolds has picked up Deep Drive Baseball. And he's doing like a 1893, I believe, replay. So we're going to look out for that. I will check out that combatpainter@gmail.com, STM, Sports Time Machine. I will check that out. Thank you for simming those games for me. And I've been, because of you and because of some other people, I've been looking into simming, kind of doing the same thing that you're doing and that ID Jester does and Baseball Demos does as well. Wesley King, welcome, Wesley King. Thanks. It's great to have you here as well. And Philip Reynolds is doing that, picked up the Deep Drive 1893 for, I think, $12 the whole season. You can pick up any season for $12. I will play Deep Drive Baseball probably Sunday. I played it yesterday. I will play every day. I'm playing 30 games in 30 days in Inside Pitch, so I can learn it really well. But I'm also playing Pop at the same time. So I got 3 things going, and I'm only focusing on 3 things. But primarily, I'm doing the 69 and the 76. 69 Mets, 76 Yankees. So you can look out for that. That's right. It is a good game because the Yankees win, not even if the Yankees win. That's where we're off there, Salvador. All right? You got to get on the bandwagon here, my friend. All right? Okay, so I don't know if you want to tell me how I can use that. I'm not exactly sure. It'll be good because I can see all the data, but you didn't play the Yankees, right? So are they missing the Yankee games? That's the question, Sports Time Machine. Are they missing the Yankee games? So you said you were going to put the Yankee games on hold, so that means it's the whole league without the Yankee games. So then the stats, yeah. So I don't know how we're going to do that, but anyway, thank you for doing that. And I think you must have it like every season to be able to say, oh, I have 76, because I know you have 77, and you must have 76. So you must have a lot of seasons with Stratomatic online. But I will be I'm leaning towards using Replay Baseball. Okay. I will call you in a few. I'll text you, and then I'll text you, ask you to permit. Is it okay to call you? And then I'll do it that way. That way I don't call you while you're in the middle of something else. So if you send me your text, your number in that email, which you probably did, Pop and IP are my favorites, especially when scoring on Replay PC. Well, I think you're my main man here for forever. Forever Remain 90. That's a cool name. All right, so that's it. Mine too. Pop and Inside Pitch are the ones I'm playing the most, and of course, then I'm giving Deep Drive Baseball an opportunity. Have some fun with that. It's a little bit different system. It's a 50-50 system, so it's a little bit old school. So keep that in mind. It's a little bit old school. Okay, Deep Drive Baseball, but it's nice. It's a nice system. It's got some nuance to it. It's got some little things worked in there. It's got some abstractions. But because his idea when he approached it, he wanted to have a simple baseball game with that deep drive element, that deep drive chart, which is a cool little, aspect of it. And then guys, of course, insisted that he have lefty-righty splits. You got to have lefty-righty splits. You got to have lefty-righty splits. You got to have lefty-righty splits. So then he said, okay, I'll give you guys lefty-righty splits. But he figured out a way to make it pretty simple and to allow you to need to use those loogies. So now you got a left-handed batter, you want to bring in a loogie. You got a big left-handed batter. It's late in the game. It's a close game, and there's guys on base, or just you want to get an edge on that left-handed hitter. You bring in your loogie. He designed a quick little system to do that, which is kind of cool because that adds that particular strategy without adding the need to create a lefty righty batting for every single card. So he's got the strategy in there. So it's basically lefty righty splits abstracted pretty much. It's not absolute on every single player, but it's not on here either. It's not always. It plays a role, which it should, but it doesn't always. It's not the only. It's not the driving force behind the game. Lefty righty splits. Righties still get hits off righties, and lefties still get hits off lefties. It's not an absolute system where every lefty always shuts you down if you're a lefty, and every righty always shuts you down if you're a righty. So there's no need to have it on every play. There's no need, absolutely, to have it on every play. That's you could have it on every play, and it's fine if you do. But if you don't have it, it's not the end of the world. It still plays a role, and that's what you really ultimately want. That's my perspective. So I'm not going to go off on a really long rant here on that issue. All right, so let me see. Show the whole thing. Okay, all right, I got it. Hide user on this. Okay, I got it. Oh, you delete a message. All right, brother. I'll see you guys. Hasta la vista. See you in a little while. Play some more games today. Got to get to the gym and back and so forth and have some breakfast and